Welcome to Book Buzz Reviews and Summaries. Not today. The 9 Habits of Extreme Productivity, a book that transforms your approach to life, one habit at a time. In a world that never stops moving, where demands are endless and distractions are limitless, we often find ourselves adrift in a sea of to-do lists, emails, and endless meetings. It feels as though every hour slips through our fingers, as if our ambitions and aspirations are always just out of reach. So, what if there was a way to fight back against the chaos? What if the secret to becoming the person who gets things done wasn't about working harder, but about working smarter? What if you could learn the habits of those few who seem to thrive, even in the most overwhelming circumstances? Enter Erica Schultz's Not Today, the 9 Habits of Extreme Productivity. Schultz doesn't just offer another generic productivity book with a laundry list of tips you've heard before. She offers a blueprint for mastering your time, your energy, and your focus. This isn't about squeezing more into your already packed day. It's about learning the subtle art of doing less, but with more purpose. It's about cultivating habits that turn you into a productivity powerhouse without the burnout. Picture this. You wake up in the morning with a clear sense of purpose. Every task, no matter how daunting, feels aligned with your goals. The usual distractions? They have no hold on you. You're in control of your time, and more importantly, your life. It's not a dream. It's the result of the 9 habits that Schultz reveals in this transformative book. Let's face it, productivity is more than just about getting through a list of tasks. It's about impact. It's about taking control of your time and using it to create something meaningful. But in order to achieve true productivity, you need to shift your mindset. It's about breaking free from the cycle of stress, exhaustion, and constant motion. Not Today teaches you how to stop running in circles, how to stop reacting to everything life throws your way, and how to start creating intentional, actionable steps toward your goals. But why do these habits work? It's simple. They aren't just strategies, they are philosophies for life. Every habit in this book has been designed not just to help you get more done, but to help you embrace the deeper process of transformation. They show you how to shift from doing to being, from an overwhelmed, exhausted worker to a focused, energized achiever. In the pages of this book, you'll uncover the 9 habits that change everything. 1. Habit 1. The power of prioritization. You can't do it all, and that's okay. The first habit teaches you the importance of prioritizing your goals and learning to say no to the things that distract you from what really matters. Prioritization isn't just about productivity. It's about protecting your time and energy for the things that truly align with your bigger vision. 2. Habit 2. Mastering focus. Focus isn't something you're born with. It's a muscle you can strengthen. Schultz explains how you can eliminate distractions, train your mind to focus, and build routines that make focus second nature. With this habit, you'll finally be able to conquer your most difficult tasks with laser precision. 3. Habit 3. The art of single tasking. While the world tells you to multitask, Schultz shows you the art of single tasking. By giving your full attention to one thing at a time, you increase efficiency and quality, leading to greater satisfaction in everything you do. This habit teaches you that in a world of constant juggling, the real secret is doing less, but doing it deeply. 4. Habit 4. Strategic reflection. Success isn't just about doing, it's about reflecting. Schultz delves into the power of reflection to create feedback loops that allow you to learn from your mistakes and celebrate your victories. This habit teaches you to be intentional with your time and energy, so you're always moving forward, even on days when you feel stuck. 5. Habit 5. Rest is a strategy. This might sound counterintuitive, but rest isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Schultz emphasizes the importance of sleep, breaks, and downtime as integral to productivity. You'll learn how to balance your work with the rest your body and mind need to recharge, ensuring long-term productivity and creativity. 6. Habit 6. The ritual of preparation. Great results don't happen by accident. They happen with preparation. In this habit, you'll learn how planning and setting up your environment can set you up for success. From organizing your workspace to planning your day, Schultz shares strategies for creating a daily ritual that fuels productivity from the moment you wake up. 7. Habit 7. The power of accountability. Accountability is more than just checking in with others. It's about holding yourself responsible for your actions and staying committed to your goals. Schultz teaches you how to set up a system of accountability, whether it's through a partner, a team, or a personal method, to ensure you're always moving toward your vision. 8. Habit 8. The focused mindset. Mindset is everything. In this habit, Schultz helps you cultivate a mindset that is geared for success, resilience, and growth. You'll learn how to tackle challenges head-on and bounce back from setbacks stronger than before. It's about having the mental toughness to push through obstacles and stay on track. 9. Habit 9. The power of consistency. Finally, Schultz teaches you that productivity is not about short bursts of intense effort. It's about creating habits of consistency that compound over time. Whether it's small daily wins or building long-term systems, this habit shows you how staying consistent leads to sustainable productivity and lifelong success. But the real magic of Not Today is not just in the habits themselves. It's in the way Schultz weaves them together into a holistic approach to life. Each habit is carefully crafted to support the others, creating a seamless system for creating extreme productivity without the stress or burnout. It's a new way of thinking, of living, of working. By adopting these habits, you'll not only become more productive, but also more fulfilled in everything you do. Now, you might be wondering, can these habits work for me? The answer is yes, they absolutely can. Whether you're a busy professional, an entrepreneur, or someone simply looking to take back control of their time, these 9 habits can be tailored to suit your unique needs and goals. It's not about a one-size-fits-all solution. It's about crafting a personalized productivity system that works for your life. As you move through the pages of this book, you'll begin to realize that productivity is not just about getting things done. It's about getting the right things done. The 9 habits that Schultz reveals are your toolkit for making sure you're always working on what matters most. But it's not just about work. It's about creating a life that you truly want to live. It's about making your dreams actionable and your goals attainable. So, if you're ready to stop feeling overwhelmed and start feeling empowered, if you're ready to transform your relationship with productivity, and if you're ready to make today count, then it's time to dive into Not Today, the 9 habits of extreme productivity. The habits you'll discover inside will challenge you, inspire you, and equip you to become the best version of yourself. The choice is yours. Will you continue to be at the mercy of your to-do list and distractions? Or will you take control and become the person you've always wanted to be? Not today. Not today. Because today, you choose to be the one who rises above the noise and accomplishes the extraordinary. Today, you start building the habits that will change your life forever. Introduction: The Battle Against Busy. Schultz opens the book by striking a chord with anyone who's ever felt trapped in a never-ending grind of tasks and to-do lists. She talks about the illusion of productivity, the idea that being busy is the same as being effective. Spoiler alert, it's not. Schultz frames the book as a battle cry for those tired of being stuck in the hamster wheel. The premise is simple. Extreme productivity isn't about doing more, but about doing what truly matters. She introduces the idea of the 9 habits, practical tools to help you say not today to distractions and time wasters so you can focus on meaningful work. By the end of the introduction, Schultz has you hooked with the promise of clarity and control over your day. Chapter 1. Focus on the work that matters. Schultz begins with a hard truth. Most of us are spending our time on things that don't actually matter. She recounts relatable scenarios, answering endless emails, attending pointless meetings, or chasing urgent tasks that turn out to be unimportant. The first habit, she explains, is to identify your most valuable work. MVW, and give it your undivided attention. To find your most valuable work, she encourages readers to ask themselves, 1. What's the one thing I can do that will have the greatest impact? 2. What aligns with my goals and values? She shares a compelling story about a marketing executive who reclaimed his focus by setting boundaries on his time. By deliberately prioritizing his most valuable work, he cut through the noise and doubled his productivity. Schultz wraps up the chapter with actionable tips, like time blocking for high-priority tasks and learning to say no, a theme she promises to revisit later. Chapter 2. Protect your time like a fortress. This chapter is all about time management, but Schultz takes a refreshingly unique angle. She doesn't just list hacks. She paints your time as a fortress under siege. Distractions, unnecessary meetings, and other people's priorities are the invaders. Your job? Defend your fortress at all costs. Schultz introduces the concept of the gold standard schedule, a proactive approach to designing your day around your priorities. She highlights the importance of scheduling your MVW during your peak energy hours and shielding that time from interruptions. One story that stands out is about a software developer who reclaimed 2 hours a day by implementing focus blocks, uninterrupted periods for deep work. Schultz also introduces her favorite phrase for declining low-value tasks. Not today. It's polite yet firm, and it quickly becomes a mantra for readers. Chapter 3. Build systems, not willpower. In this chapter, Schultz challenges the notion that willpower is the key to productivity. Willpower is finite, she explains. Systems are forever. This habit is about setting up structures that make success inevitable. She introduces the 3S framework: simplify, standardize, streamline, which she uses to automate repetitive tasks and minimize decision fatigue. One particularly fascinating example is about a team leader who reduced meeting overload by implementing a decision-making framework for her team, freeing up hours each week. The tone of this chapter is inspiring but practical. Schultz empowers readers to audit their current workflows, eliminate redundancies, and design systems that support their goals. Her advice? If you have to rely on willpower every day, your system is broken. Chapter 4. Embrace the power of no. If there's one chapter that challenges readers to confront their limits, it's Chapter 4. Schultz dives deep into the power of saying no. She explains that saying yes to everything might make you feel liked or useful in the moment, but it will ultimately leave you overwhelmed, stressed, and unproductive. The crux of this habit is learning to protect your time and energy by being selective about commitments. Schultz makes an important distinction between yes people, those who agree to everything out of a sense of duty, and no people, those who protect their time without guilt. She shares a personal anecdote about her early career when she felt compelled to say yes to every request from her boss, coworkers, and clients. She quickly realized that the more she said yes, the less she could focus on her actual priorities. It wasn't until she learned to say no that she could prioritize what really mattered. Schultz offers practical advice for setting boundaries. One approach is the polite no, where you graciously decline without feeling like you've let someone down. Her go-to phrase is, "Thank you for the offer, but I'm going to have to pass on this one." She emphasizes that it's not about being rude. It's about reclaiming control over your time. Chapter 5. Ditch the perfectionism. Perfectionism is one of the sneakiest productivity killers. In this chapter, Schultz tackles the myth that everything must be flawless to be valuable. She argues that perfectionism leads to procrastination, burnout, and missed opportunities. Schultz introduces the concept of good enough, encouraging readers to set standards that allow for progress without stalling. She explains that extreme productivity is about momentum, not waiting for the perfect outcome. If you've ever been paralyzed by fear of a project not being just right, this chapter will resonate deeply. She provides a powerful example from a client, a writer, who would rewrite her chapters endlessly because she thought they weren't perfect. Once she learned to embrace imperfection and move forward, she completed her book in half the time. Schultz advocates for the 90% rule. Aim to finish something at 90%, then move on and iterate, rather than endlessly refining. In this chapter, Schultz's tone is warm but firm, helping readers shed the weight of their own perfectionist tendencies. The takeaway: progress over perfection. Chapter 6: Batch and Automate. Schultz takes a page from the productivity playbook of Silicon Valley in this chapter, advocating for batching tasks and automating where possible. Batching involves grouping similar tasks together to minimize the mental strain of context switching. Whether it's responding to emails, scheduling social media posts, or meal prepping, batching allows you to focus your energy on a single type of work at a time, making it more efficient. Schultz offers concrete advice on how to set up automated systems for recurring tasks. For instance, using email filters and templates can eliminate the need for repetitive responses. Automating payments, reminders, and certain business operations can drastically cut down on mental clutter. One fascinating case study in this chapter involves a small business owner who automated her invoicing and payment follow-ups, saving her hours each week. The freedom to focus on higher-level tasks like product development made her business thrive. For readers overwhelmed by their day-to-day routines, this chapter feels like a weight lifted off the shoulders. The message: stop doing things manually when technology can do it for you. Chapter 7: Work with energy, not time. This chapter introduces the idea of working with your body's natural rhythms instead of against them. Schultz discusses how the traditional 9-to-5 workday is often counterproductive for many people. Instead, she advocates for energy-based productivity, focusing on when you're most energized, rather than adhering to a strict time-based schedule. Schultz introduces the Energizer system, which is a way to map out your day based on your personal energy highs and lows. For example, some people are naturally more focused in the morning, while others hit their stride later in the day. By aligning your most important tasks with your peak energy, you'll work faster and with more focus. She shares the example of a lawyer who reorganized her workday to take advantage of her morning energy. She used her afternoons for less mentally demanding tasks, like client check-ins. By the end of the week, she noticed a drastic improvement in her efficiency and satisfaction at work. This chapter is both enlightening and empowering. It's about working smarter, not harder, and understanding that your energy, not the clock, should dictate how you work. Chapter 8: Master the Art of Delegation. Schultz argues that one of the biggest traps in productivity is the myth that you have to do everything yourself. In this chapter, she explores the importance of delegation and how learning to trust others with tasks can free up your time for high-value work. She emphasizes that delegation isn't just about offloading work. It's about empowering others and creating an environment where everyone can thrive. Schultz introduces the concept of delegation lanes, specific tasks or responsibilities that can be easily handed off to someone else. Whether it's assigning routine tasks to a virtual assistant or collaborating with a colleague on a project, Schultz encourages readers to start thinking about where they can share the workload. One powerful example comes from a project manager who learned to delegate certain parts of her work to her team, giving her more space to focus on leadership and strategy. By trusting others to handle the details, she was able to elevate her work and support her team's growth. Schultz concludes the chapter by reminding readers that delegation is a superpower, not a sign of weakness. It's about understanding that your time is best spent on things that only you can do. Chapter 9: Practice consistency, not perfection. Schultz closes the book with a message that ties everything together. Consistency is the key to long-term productivity. She makes the case that while the first few habits will help you get more done in less time, consistency is what will keep you on track. She shares her own experience of building habits around the practices in this book. Rather than aiming for flawless execution, she focused on showing up each day and making incremental improvements. She calls this progress over perfection once again, but this time with a focus on daily practice. Schultz wraps up the book by reminding readers that productivity isn't a destination, it's a journey. It's about creating habits that are sustainable, not overwhelming, and that align with your life goals. Absolutely. Let's keep the momentum going with a deeper dive into the ideas and strategies Erica Schultz presents in the next chapters of Not Today, the 9 Habits of Extreme Productivity. We'll keep it detailed, engaging, and conversational. Chapter 10. Build resilience through rest and recovery. In this chapter, Schultz shifts gears and introduces the concept of recovery as a key pillar of extreme productivity. It might seem counterintuitive at first. After all, we're talking about productivity, not rest. However, Schultz explains that without sufficient rest and recovery, even the best systems and habits will fall apart. She emphasizes that resilience is not about working harder or longer, but about building your capacity to recover from mental and physical fatigue. Schultz shares her own personal struggle with burnout early in her career, when she equated constant busyness with success. But over time, she discovered that true productivity came from periods of deep rest, reflection, and rejuvenation. This chapter introduces the 2-2-2 rule for recovery. 2 hours. Unplug completely from work each day for 2 hours. 2 days. Take a break every 2 weeks, whether it's a full weekend off or a mental health day. 2 weeks. Commit to longer, more intentional breaks at least once a year. Schultz talks about the role of sleep in productivity, emphasizing how essential it is for consolidating information and making critical decisions. She gives tips for optimizing sleep hygiene, like limiting screen time before bed and setting a consistent bedtime. This chapter is a reminder that rest isn't a luxury. It's a necessity for sustaining high productivity in the long term. Schultz invites readers to view their recovery time as part of their strategy for success, not as something to feel guilty about. Chapter 11. Cultivate a growth mindset. In Chapter 11, Schultz digs into one of the most important mental frameworks for extreme productivity, the growth mindset. She introduces this concept based on the work of psychologist Carol Dweck and explains how it is essential for overcoming setbacks, learning new skills, and sustaining progress in the long term. Schultz tells readers that having a growth mindset is not just about embracing challenges. It's about embracing failure. Instead of fearing mistakes, she urges readers to see them as opportunities for growth. She shares stories of high achievers who failed multiple times before achieving success, underscoring the idea that failure is feedback, not a roadblock. Schultz provides actionable steps to develop a growth mindset. 1. Reframe setbacks. Instead of thinking I failed, think what can I learn from this? 2. Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself when things don't go as planned. 3. Seek challenges. Don't shy away from difficult tasks. They're the ones that will help you grow the most. A fascinating example Schultz uses is about an entrepreneur who, after several failed business ventures, reframed her experience as a learning opportunity. Instead of quitting, she pivoted and used the lessons from each failure to build a successful new venture. This chapter is an inspiring call to action for anyone who feels stuck or intimidated by challenges. By adopting a growth mindset, Schultz argues, you can unlock endless potential and resilience in the face of difficulty. Chapter 12. Design your environment for success. A key principle in Schultz's productivity system is that your environment shapes your behavior. In Chapter 12, she focuses on the power of physical and digital environments in boosting or hindering productivity. She suggests that an organized, intentional space can help eliminate distractions and enhance focus. Schultz provides a blueprint for designing both your physical workspace and your digital landscape to support your goals. For physical spaces, she recommends 1. Declutter. Clear out unnecessary items to reduce mental distraction. 2. Ergonomics. Invest in a comfortable chair and desk setup to reduce fatigue. 3. Personalization. Surround yourself with items that inspire and motivate you, whether it's plants, artwork, or photos of loved ones. For the digital environment, Schultz advises 1. Streamline apps and tools. Only use tools that directly contribute to your work. 2. Unsubscribe. Clean up your inbox and digital notifications to minimize distractions. 3. Create a focus zone. Use apps like Focus at Will or Forest to block out distractions and cultivate concentration. She shares a story about a freelance graphic designer who transformed his work habits by clearing out clutter and setting up a designated creative space. By eliminating distractions, he was able to immerse himself fully in his design work, leading to higher quality results and faster turnaround times. This chapter reinforces the importance of curating your environment to foster the kind of focus and creativity that extreme productivity demands. Chapter 13. Develop a daily routine that sets you up for success. The importance of a well-structured daily routine cannot be overstated in extreme productivity, and this chapter dives into exactly how to build one. Schultz encourages readers to create rituals and habits that align with their personal goals and priorities. She describes her own daily routine, which includes intentional morning rituals like meditation, journaling, and exercise, all designed to set a positive tone for the day ahead. Schultz emphasizes that while routines are individual, they should serve the larger purpose of helping you maintain focus and energy throughout the day. Some of the tips she gives include: 1. Start with a morning routine. Whether it's a short meditation or a healthy breakfast, starting the day with intention sets the tone for the hours ahead. 2. Block your time. Dedicate specific hours for deep work and others for meetings or low-priority tasks. 3. End the day intentionally. Create a winding-down routine to disconnect from work and prepare for restful sleep. Schultz also advises readers to automate aspects of their routine where possible, from meal prepping to setting reminders for regular breaks. An example that stands out is a business consultant who found success by adhering to a strict routine, which allowed her to separate her work life from her personal life and avoid burnout. Schultz notes that routines are not about rigidity, but about empowering yourself to make the most of your time. Chapter 14. Use metrics to measure success. In Chapter 14, Schultz introduces the concept of tracking and measuring progress as a critical part of extreme productivity. While many productivity books focus on strategies and habits, Schultz emphasizes the importance of data and understanding what's working and what needs adjustment. She talks about setting measurable goals, like increasing sales or reducing the time spent on administrative tasks, and then breaking them down into key performance indicators, KPIs, that you can track regularly. Schultz uses the example of a client who wanted to boost productivity at her startup. By setting clear KPIs and tracking them weekly, the client was able to pinpoint bottlenecks and inefficiencies in her operations. Some tools and strategies Schultz recommends for tracking success include: 1. Daily or weekly check-ins. Evaluate how well you're sticking to your routines and habits. 2. Use apps. Tools like Toggle for time tracking or Habitica for goal setting can make it easier to monitor progress. 3. Keep a success journal. Write down daily wins, no matter how small, to maintain motivation and celebrate progress. Schultz notes that without metrics, it's easy to get lost in the busyness of life and assume you're making progress, when in reality, you might not be. She encourages readers to measure what matters and adjust strategies based on real data. Chapter 15. The lasting benefits of extreme productivity. In the final chapter, Schultz brings everything together by explaining the long-term benefits of embracing the 9 habits of extreme productivity. These benefits aren't just about accomplishing more. They're about creating a life that aligns with your values, fosters growth, and enhances personal satisfaction. Schultz reflects on the transformation she's seen in herself and others by implementing these habits. For instance, one client, a busy executive, found that by focusing on deep work, setting clear boundaries, and embracing imperfection, she was able to spend more time with her family and experience greater joy at work. Schultz concludes with a motivating call to action. Extreme productivity isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters. She encourages readers to take the first step, embrace the habits, and see how they can transform both their work and their life.